partner panel coming up. We got a couple partners coming up that are going to go ahead and answer some questions and everything like that we have prepared. We've got Yoni Mazur from Getita. We've got Lauren Benton from Back Market, and I've got Joffrey Couture, I hope I pronounced that last name right, from Rebelo. And then we have our fantastic moderator, our very own Dina Monsoir. So I'm going to go ahead and invite everybody on up to the stage when they get a chance.
It's nice to have everyone here. It's been a pleasure to meet all the clients that we're dealing with so far for so many years, and we hope you're really enjoying.
Good energy.
To start, I'm going to ask you guys to introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about your role in the company and what your company does. Would you like to start?
Ladies first.
Thank you very much. Hello, my name is Lauren Benton. I'm the general manager for Back Market. We are a marketplace dedicated to the sale of refurbished tech. So our 7 million monthly visitors to our site, plus those on the app, are coming to look for us for that first smartphone for their child, to upgrade the noise-canceling headphones that they have, their laptop, or their tablet. And we're not just about selling that tech, we also have a robust trade-in program. So quick hands, who's got a device at home that they're not using, that they saved for a rainy day in their drawer and under a bed? No hands, that is a lie, because statistically, many of you have almost 4 of those, and each of them's worth about $180 in cash to be able to trade in and to support the circular economy for that tech. That's Back Market.
Nice. I think I can use some of that, so we're gonna have to discuss later. $180 per household. That's pretty good outcome. All right. So Yoni Mazur, I'm one of the co-founders and chief growth officer of Getita. In short, we're a technology company. Our mission is to help Amazon FBA sellers maximize their FBA auditing and reimbursements potential. So typically, when you send your products to Amazon, even the refurbished products, some of them can get lost, damaged, destroyed, disappeared, or get overcharged with fees. So our technology catches the issue, but then we have a dedicated service team that helps, with filing the cases and manage all the back and forth. So that's kind of our core mission. But beyond that, we help a lot with sellers just by free consulting. We're like a friendly, a person on or agent on the shoulder and telling you want to get rid of your $180 worth of 4 devices. You go to these guys or this guy. So that's in a nutshell kind of our focus and mission. And I'll hand it off to my friend from Europe.
Thank you. That's why we put you in the middle to avoid the fight, right? So my name is Geoffrey Couture. I'm French. Sorry for the accent. And I'm the managing director for Rebelo. So Rebelo is the new marketplace that started a year and a half ago in USA, originally founded in Singapore. We're the leading marketplace for refurb tech in APAC. And so same thing, our role is to promote sustainability by selling and refurb and used tech devices, but also a lot of, we're going to go through that during the presentations, but a lot of category expansions such as home appliances, kitchen appliances. Our mission is really to promote sustainability. Yeah, that's what we do.
So a big conversation point nowadays is like consumer priorities. We obviously want to get things selling as fast as possible, as quick as possible. And we would love to get some input on what the priorities are. Is it getting things fastest? Now we have shipping same day, or is it cheapest?
Price and value is going to drive them in, but it's the convenience that's going to convert them. Right, that is going to be the user experience of where they're shopping. It's going to be paying the way that they want to pay, buy now, pay later, especially here in the United States where your tech has high adoption. It's going to be a strong delivery promise, and it's not just do you deliver on time, but it's the gamification of watching that device come to me, right? Customers want to check in on that and know exactly when it's going to arrive on Tuesday. So I say convenience is really what is going to convert them.
They're very bright and very accurate. So I don't know what else can I put, but no, I would say when it comes to refurbished devices, though, especially on customer acquisitions, the price is what makes the customer come onto your website. We spend, marketplaces a lot of money on Google to acquire the consumer, and it's a battle for price first of all. Then of course the trust element came into factor once the consumer comes on the website. So this is where, by shipping fast, fast delivery, 30 days refund guarantee, we offer 1 year warranty for the product. Everything's included. That's how you build the trust with the consumer. But the first element that really attracts the consumer on the platform, that's the price element.
And I guess I'll ask you this question, Yoni. Have you seen identifiable trends in the amount of sellers utilizing FBA and MCF recently? And what have been behind these trends?
What was the first part of the question? I didn't catch that.
What are the trends between sellers utilizing FBA and MCF, meaning instead of storing the inventory by their warehouse, sending it into FBA, have FBA sending it out to their customers directly, and
So I can talk to this in two dimensions. One is myself, my experience using also Sellercloud. We actually, when we started selling online over a decade ago, I mean, I cashed out. I don't sell online anymore. I just help the sellers. But over a decade ago when we started on our website, then eBay, then Amazon, then Rakuten. And we tried to really kind of be everywhere that we can. Sellercloud was actually very effective for us with the multi-channel because we did have stuff, from all our own fulfillment centers, our own warehouse. So when these orders come in, we gotta adjust the quantities all over the marketplace. So that was really helpful. But also some of it that we didn't have in the warehouses, and we did have it on Amazon. That's when MCF, the multi-channel fulfillment, clicked in, and that was useful. It was useful to have that spread. The cost structure wasn't as effective when we fulfilled it ourselves back in the day. So I'm talking, prehistoric. I don't know what the situation is right now with the cost of MCF, but I think ultimately it will be depending on your margin and your price point per product. So if your margins enable you to make a decent margin after all the fees with MCF, with multi-channel fulfillment and paying those fees to Amazon, you should probably offer that product all over the place, wherever you can, even your marketplace. I don't think there's a contradiction at all. I think a fiduciary duty of any retailer, anybody selling a product, is that you have to be there for your end consumer. So if they're on Amazon or these other marketplaces, you have to be there. That's your ultimate goal and mission. So you got to make those efforts to partner with the right platforms, softwares, and marketplaces to enable that and really thrive on those environments. So another thing is, I guess the curveball of the past few years is Buy with Prime, BWP, where they had a whole struggle with Shopify back in the day. But I think they both found the common ground where, you can, on your Shopify store, you can have this Amazon Buy with Prime checkout. So once you click that, then that triggers your MCF order, your multi-channel fulfillment order. So it's piling up. I know there's a team here with Buy with Prime and multi-channel fulfillment. So if you want to learn more about it, I definitely recommend checking it out. What it should do is two things. Increase the trust of your own website. So you can, the traffic that comes in, they'll trust you. And then they make the purchase, but also they know they can really get the product on time. So that's the current trend that I see from the prehistoric days until modern days kind of thing.
Yeah, and you mentioned the costs of MCF. I think they're definitely trying to promote it more, so they're more willing to negotiate on those rates. I think it is more cost effective for many clients, obviously depending on your product. And I know you mentioned Buy with Prime on Shopify, but we do have clients who are able to do the MCF automated through Sellercloud. I know it was mentioned once or twice before today, but we could automate it based on your rules, have orders come in from the channels and automatically be shipped out to Amazon to be fulfilled. And obviously, once we receive the tracking, we'll send it back to the origin of the order. Lauren, this question is for you. Do you find that there to be a number of growing sellers on your platform that are using like third-party warehouses to store their inventory versus like keeping the inventory in their own warehouse?
For us right now, I actually do not. A lot of our sellers are still fulfilling the products that they are receiving themselves right now. Whether that is good or bad, supply is not locked in. It's not directed towards us. But using a lot of other integration softwares, as well as, of course, Sellercloud being a major contributor to where that supply is coming from. But I think on the reverse logistics side, there's much more of an opportunity, right? One of those smartphones, if it is actually returned back, the residual value is, can I resell that on this circular marketplace, or could they be wholesaling it down the line? And I think then deciding where they want those returns to go to be able to maximize the value that's left.
Do you see any differences in order error rates or in return products that can be attributed to merchants fulfilling the orders on their own versus using a third party?
The real difference is whether they use solutions like Sellercloud or they do FTP, CSV file, or API integrations. The beauty of Sellercloud is your whole team of people that have worked for many years on developing a solutions that is very powerful, right? And most of the vendors that work on Ribedo also work with Back Market. They work with Amazon, they work with eBay, they work with all those marketplaces, right? The main challenge for them is to have an inventory that is synced between all those platforms, right? Because if there's an issue with the inventory sync, then you can rapidly oversell on the platform, and therefore that leads to cancellations, order cancellations, and that's a mess for the vendors, for the consumers, because it's a very disappointing experience. So we don't want to avoid that. So yeah, working with the solutions like Sellercloud really enhance the consumer experience at the end, because that solution is very powerful.
Yeah, and I know it was mentioned before, but we're upgrading our integration with you guys.
You
no?
are, thank you, because we were using FTP, so finally we got the go. So I think we're starting the integration this month or something. So we're very happy about that.
Alrighty.
But even with FTP,
Back
though, that was
market
working very
too.
We're
well.
all on the API.
Yep, we're all into API.
We're going API as well. It's going to be great. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. We appreciate the partnership.
Yoni, what is the average percent of revenue for sellers that is impacted by Amazon reimbursements? And how much do your customers save on average by using a software like yours?
Got it. So high level statistics, right? So just for perspective reasons. So we actually currently audit tens of billions of dollars worth of FBA transactions every day through our technology. And on an annual basis, we see that the discrepancy rate ranges between 1 to 3% from revenue, from your FBA revenue. So let's say you're doing $1 million a year on FBA, that can be $10,000 to $30,000 worth of discrepancies that you need to audit for and investigate and bring to Amazon's attention and potentially recover. And on it goes. If you're doing 100 million a year, that can be 1 to 3 million a year. Another way to look at it is that for every 100 units shipped to FBA, to Amazon fulfillment centers, between 1 to 3% will experience that discrepancy. Once again, units can get lost, damaged, destroyed, disappeared, disposed, or recharged with fees. So anybody here sitting in the room that's active on FBA can make that rule of thumb. I'm doing X amount of revenue on FBA, 1 to 3%. That is kind of the spectrum. I do want to mention that it could be that somebody's outside the spectrum, meaning they can have a 6 or 7 or 8% discrepancy rate. Another one might have a 0.5%, but the blended average that we see on the numbers and level is between 1 to 3%, and that can be very effective if you recover it because it all goes to the bottom line, to the profit, right? It's just you're able to go back 18 months on all the transactions, recover all these funds that you did not even know that they're available. So you flush yourself with all this extra cash that goes straight into the bottom line, to the EBITDA, to the profit. And hopefully that free cash flow, you bring it back, you're able to kind of keep growing your e-commerce business. You're able to source more products, maybe enter to new categories, maybe dabble a little bit with refurbished or anything like that, or have more money for advertising and promoting your products and driving traffic. So if you're a smart, sophisticated seller, your mission is to really kind of optimize every single layer of activity in your business. If it's the sourcing, it's the marketing, it's the launching, but also the auditing. And our biggest adversary right now is just lack of awareness. Most of the sellers are not even aware that A, they own money, and B, if they know that they own money, they don't know how much money it is. So today everybody can do the rule of thumb. And hopefully once you're smart and you're able to recover those funds and optimize that element and optimize other elements, you should be indestructible. You're gonna have probably good long-term longevity in this industry as opposed to other sellers coming in just trying to generate revenue, a lot of revenue, that have no idea how much of it is actually trickling down to profit. And then maybe they're even digging a financial hole, and they kind of fade away. So in the past 10 years, we've seen the ones who optimize every single element, especially multi-channel, multi-marketplace, whatever you can do, optimize, or just focus just on revenue and not optimize, then you can really have a different scenario. So that's kind of the spectrum and the potential. Hopefully this is helpful.
All right. And for those of you who are not sure if you're losing stuff in Amazon, Sellercloud does have a FBA reconciliation report where you could see like what kind of discrepancies there are. You could see if you're in the 0.5% or what was it, 6%? Alrighty, so we're going to open this question to everyone. In 2023, the retail return rate was at a whopping 14.5%, over $743 billion in returns. What do you think is driving this?
Ladies first every time. All right. Let's see. In that average, I think clothing, it probably ranges close to almost 30% of the returns, and we have that behavior, right? Electronics, new and refurbished, are going to range closer to 11%, and at least a quarter of those is often that the customer just doesn't know how to activate the device. If that's putting it onto their telco plan, if that's how to move the pictures from one device to another. And so what I would say is that we are very invested in making sure that the customers are keeping those devices once they are there. That's a major player into their total cost of sale. And those customers likely order that device because they truly need it. You're not trying them on for sizes in the exact same way. And so back market, from a customer care perspective, the way that we support them post-purchase, putting them on the phone, screen sharing with one of our tech experts, we really want to minimize the returns to be focused on what is defective and have customers keep those devices as much as possible.
Actually, I want to ask a few questions on this. So first question, Sellercloud, right now, is it able to show you the refund rate or return rate per category? Let's say you're in the shoes category, electronics, or it just shows you an aggregate for the whole account?
It shows you the aggregate, but you could, if you had like product types set up, you could run the report separately on each
Yeah, you
category.
can segregate by
and then
SKU. Or,
compare.
yeah, if you know these are the SKU for
Right.
electronics, or unless you have also separate accounts.
It's a good idea, though.
Yeah, I think that kind of leads me to the next question. So if anybody wants to raise their hand, anybody that actually knows what their exact annual refund or return rate, raise your hand. Anybody? I'm trying to see if it's one or two.
See a few.
See, I think anybody here in this room should know. You just have to know, because you really, once again, the trickle-down effect, how much of that is affecting your bottom line profit. So how much is being returned? What's the cost of all these returns, whether an FBA or your own fulfillment center or your own team that's doing it? You should be a super champion on these calculations. I did meet with a good friend of mine and client. I'm going to drop his name here. His name is Sagiv Poplinger. He's a wizard. He knows, so he's doing the refurbished, I believe, on multi-channel places, and he's doing a lot of volume, but he's surviving all these years. When I keep in track with him, and I see a lot of his competitors, or they big numbers, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, they did not survive. Why? They had no idea, A, what is the return rate, and what's the cost of all that. But he nailed that to the science, and in surviving, and surviving here, it means kind of thriving. So that's a good question. I think there's a lot of room for everybody to know. So up to you guys, Sellercloud, to raise this to the next level.
I'll just one comment on that. So prior to my time at Rebelo, I used to be a vendor as well. I was head of e-commerce for Alchemy Global Solutions and Brightstar, which are two of the largest refurbishers in the world. So I sold myself over 2 million devices online in the last 7-8 years, right? And I know Sagiv very well, because him and I, we were very big competitors, right? So we now work together and we're great friends. We have a lot of mutual respect for what we've done together. But yes, to your point, the refurbishing industry is, we work on, as a vendor, right? We work on very thin margins. So actually the devil hides in the details. You have to be able to control your return rate to be able to make a profit out of your whole business. So anybody that works in the refurbish industry know or should know for sure their return rate. And most marketplaces, by the way, if I'm not sure about Sellercloud, never used the solution as a vendor, but most marketplaces, Backmarket does it, we do it, Amazon does it, can tell you exactly what is your return rate, and even break it down per category, which is very important, because again, that's how you can control and correct back, work proactively on the product itself to find the root cause and work on that root cause and reduce the return rate. That's how you can sustain in this refurbishing industry. But just now to go back on your questions and what explained the reason of the returns, and I'm going to be specific to the refurbishing industry. First, it's consumer change of mind. For 1/3, 30% of the returns are change of mind. The second reason, which is the biggest, and again, I worked with Amazon, I worked with eBay, I sold my products on Backmarket before. The number one reason is always the same thing: battery. Battery is the second reason after change of mind, the reason why people return their phone. Why? Because I think there are still a lot of educations and work that actors like us, vendors, marketplaces, we need to do to set up the right expectations when people buy refurbished. Obviously, they cannot, a refurbished used phone cannot come with a brand new battery all the time. It's just, it's not just the way it is. But it's 80+ battery is actually going to provide the device with the sufficient energy to work properly for the next 2 to 3 years. So it's also, how can we explain and educate the consumer on, okay, this is not brand new, this is a used battery, but it's going to provide you with everything you need. So yeah, still a lot of work to be done here, but we are proactively working on that topic as well.
My bigger question is the consumers, how to get the returns back, but we'll save that for another time. Alrighty, is Backmarket strictly for reselling returns, like electronic returns, or do we have people who are selling refurbished products as well?
Everything on Backmarket is a verified refurbished device, but our sellers would be sourcing that from customer returns, buying from carrier auctions, buying on our own trade-in program. So when you trade in that device, who's going to purchase that are one of our seller partners on the other end. It does not actually have to be a refurbished device, meaning that it was opened and repaired. You might have received it and been able to test it with the diagnostic software and show that it had 100% functionality. So I would say that it's all going to have a second life to it.
Alrighty. What would you say customers can do with products that have been returned that they can't necessarily resell? Is there any value to that?
Now you're going to open a whole can of worms. Did you know that 7% of the world's gold is hanging out in our landfills and e-waste? every single one of those devices has residual value. And since I haven't sold them myself, I bet Joffrey can even break down better
I think
how
Apple
much
had a
is left in
campaign
each
to
one
do
of
something
those.
about it, right? They had a campaign a year or two ago, Apple, to extract the gold.
There's some actually
elements,
some really
yeah.
cool startups that are using like X cheese proteins to harvest the precious metals that are in these. But I mean, it is a truly growing, fascinating space around mining what is, in our landfills today. But the precious metals from our electronics is a huge one. So I will speak to that value, but yes, know that those devices have it. So you can always, as a consumer, trade that in somewhere. It's going to have a residual value. And when we think about the lives of these devices, they go well beyond what us as Americans are considering them. We hold on to our smartphones for 2.5 years, and as a global wholesale chain continues for those devices.
Oh, wow. Anyone else have anything?
Yeah, just a small question on that. So if you want to global markets, is there a tip or a direction for that? Any agency or company you can recommend or point out to say, hey, I can't do anything with it. I want to sell it in Asia or African markets or whatever it is. Any idea? Yes, no.
No, it's a great question. Back market as a whole does not have a wholesale solution right now for you to take those devices outside of the US, but I will pass it to Joffrey.
We do have a solution.
There we go.
We just launched a B2B marketplace actually a few months ago, which enable vendors to sell bulk products on the platform, and we do cross-border transactions. So right now, again, our company was founded in APAC, but the majority of the inventory is all here in USA, right? So when the APAC is lacking, inventory, we enable those transactions by providing them US devices, US supply directly to APAC. So yeah, we do that, and it's again we've launched the platform 3 months ago, so it's growing business, but we see a lot of good, very good path so far.
I like it. I think it's great. It's good for making money, but also, global environment. I think it's a good combination.
I'll be honest with you. I think my main goal with this is not too much on the selling devices to reseller, because I don't think we can really bring some value. I think what we're going to be focusing on is on addressing the universities, schools, corporations, right, that wants to buy a device used, right? But right now, the only solutions that they have is to buy it full price on the marketplace. When they buy sometimes, 20, 50, 100, thousands of devices. We already have some orders like a university, hospital that bought us I think 1,200 iPads, right? Why would they buy 1,200 iPads directly on, again, a marketplace paying full price when we can provide them with the solutions where the products come single kitted with 30 days refund? We can add up some warranty on top of it, and we include a buyback. It's a 3 years contract, and every year we renew 30% of the inventory, right? So again, it's all this aspect of circularity that we're trying to build in people's mind, because people are not used to it yet. But to me, we can really bring some value.
Yeah, we call this organizational sales. Organizational bodies, universities, insurance companies, hospitals. Hopefully, this reduces our insurance policy costs. I got my vote, so that's.
I'm sure they're gonna keep the balance, but
inflation is beating us, so we gotta, create solutions.
As long as there's someone with still hope. What is it driving consumers to start buying refurbished products?
There's 3 main factors. I'm gonna name them and then I'll go in details. So first is price. Second is the lack of technology, and third is the sustainability, of course. And in this order, right? So again, price, I think 90% of the purchasing decision in USA is based on pricing. People buy refurbished because from a cost standpoint, it makes sense for them, right? The economy has been, pretty low in the last years, and, taxes, insurances, everything is, increasing, and saving money on their devices makes a lot of sense. Think about a family, 2, 3 kids. Every 6 months, they drop the device, it breaks. You cannot spend $1,500 on a brand new iPhone or brand new Samsung. It doesn't make any sense when you can have that same device minus 2 years for a fraction of the price, $300, $400. Which leads me to my second point, lack of technology. Think about it. What is the real difference between a brand new iPhone 15 and an iPhone 12?
iPhone 14 Pro.
USB-C was maybe one of the, but what it is, the reality is you have a processor that runs a little bit.
It's incremental, it's not fundamental.
It's exactly, there's no revolution. There's a lack of technology. You have a better camera, okay, you have a faster processor. Does it justify you spending $1,200 extra on that device? Probably not. So lack of technology is definitely also one of the factors. The last one is sustainability, which unfortunately in USA it's still like driving 10-15% of the purchasing decision, not even. So it's by the way a pattern that we see a lot different in Europe. It's about 30%, 35% of the purchasing factor in Europe. People are more getting to the circularity and the sustainability because there's a lot of programs run by the governments, run by the countries where US is a little bit behind on that. But yeah, those are the three main factors why people buy refurbished today.
Ditto to everything that you said. To put some numbers towards that, the consumer electronics globally is a $1.3 trillion market. Refurbished electronics is 80 billion. Like the opportunity that we have there, new smartphone sales were down 3% globally last year. And Geoffrey and I would both say both of our marketplaces had growth significantly above that. Those numbers are just proving how quickly people are embracing the circular economy, be it tech, be it clothing, be it furniture.
Do you find that there's more returns with refurbished products versus new products?
No, I think what Geoffrey said about like the battery expectations, it is critical that in the upfront, who they are buying through, that we are explaining to the customer what they are about to receive. Everything sold on any of our marketplaces is going to be a 100% functional device. 60% of the cars in the US are sold used now. How did customers get comfortable with buying that type of car and putting their families inside of that? Carfax. It's a third-party source that's going to show you you've done your 70-point inspection test. The same things exist for your smartphones. And so if we can educate the customer in the upfront, and if we can use that third-party quality data and be ensuring that our partners are testing these devices before they go out, I think we can significantly cut back on any wrong expectations around that.
This is a very good example. I love that you take that because that's the example I use all the time. The car industry, the used market, this is exactly where we're heading with the consumer electronics. And at this specific minute, we're just scratching the surface, honestly. We're at the very beginning of this new era. But yes, I do believe that within 5-10 years, we don't know how long it's going to take, there would be more refurbished consumer electronics sold on the market than brand new, 100%.
Is this like the refurbished industry strictly for consumer electronics, or does it extend to clothing?
I think it really depends on the marketplace. At Rebelo, yes, we're definitely trying to be not to limit ourselves to consumer electronics. We're trying to be the sustainable Amazon, if you want, right? So we want to be able to sell, and we want you to be able to find pretty much any kind of products category used, refurbished, or using recycled materials, right? There's a lot of brands right now. I can think about one of them that is booming, Lululemon, right? That have a whole program where you can buy used Lululemon products. I think it's called likelululemon.com. So those brands for us are definitely a target for Rebelo. Again, we launched in USA less than a year and a half ago. So consumer electronics that's the bread and butter of the industry. So we heavily focused on that too as a launch. But we are launching this month sports equipment. So yoga equipment, golf clubs. I didn't know that, but yes, there's a huge market. It's $100 million market for used golf clubs, which is a big sport in USA, by the way. So we're launching golf clubs. Baby care is another one that is very important for us. And then, think about anything electric that you have in your apartment. Power tools is a very good one. We're launching this month as well. So a lot of other categories, which, by the way, are even better because most of them will have coming back to the return rate, which is very important, lower return rate because less electronic component. So basically it's more reliable, right? So it's actually very good categories.
And on back market as well?
Back market is going to remain dedicated to electronics right now.
All right. And what are some of the expectations that consumers have when buying refurbished products?
I mean, it should work as well as new. I should have that exact same unboxing experience, right? You should have the phone number visible for me to be able to call to activate your device. And I think all of that is absolutely critical for us to hit that 60% adoption rate. And for us to do that, it is partnering with our sellers in the onboarding process, making sure that the listings are right? So you're going to send a blue phone when they order a blue phone and making sure that that matches the quality standards we have. And it's how we try to use that return data when it does come in. If it is a battery, hey, how can I lean on XYZ? And the one little plug I want to give is It's not always easy with consumer electronics because OEMs want you to purchase a new device. That is the ultimate goal, right? And so we just saw with the iOS 17.4 update that if you changed the battery in one of those devices, right, which we just heard is the #1 reason for concern, it actually just stopped showing you battery health for that device. So if it was not an OEM part that they sold to you. So my name is Back Market. My mom still thinks I work at Black Market. And if you order a phone and there's no battery health on it, you're not going to trust the circular economy for your smartphone or for your golf clubs or for anything. You're going to go back and buy new.
Jeffrey, anything to add on that point?
No, I mean, I think it's very, very clear. Yeah, to your point, the first thing that they expect is a device that works, right? Now, short answer on the return rate, if we compare brand new versus refurbished, there is a higher return rate on refurbished. Let's make it clear, right? Because you're still, dealing with the electronics component that sometimes can fail, and there's not a lot of things vendors can do to prevent. They test the devices. There's a lot of tests and very efficient to prevent from that. But sometimes after 2 months, 3 months, you drop the phone once, twice, and the screen stopped working, right? So yeah, returns are a bit higher. Because also, then there's this whole part of education that we need to do on the consumer side to really set the right expectations when they buy refurbished. Sometimes consumers can believe that it's refurbished, but it's going to look brand new. No, there's actually 4, depending on the marketplace that you buy from. On Rebuilder, we have up to 5 grades, 5 different conditions that you can buy from fair to pristine, right? Pristine being a like new phone with no device, no scratch on the device. Fair is a little bit more used devices, right? So it's how do we set the right expectations on, okay, this is what you buy, this is what you bought, this is what you're going to receive. I think it's a whole job again of education that we have to do with the consumer.
Do the expectations change with other categories like not consumer electronics?
I would say they vary between smartphone and others, because smartphone, think about it. First of all, it's a commodity, right? Clearly, right? And it's the only thing that if you forgot it in the morning going to work, you're going to go back to your house to get it. You can forget your credit card. You can forget your car keys and still take the subway if you live in New York. If you left your credit card, you can still pay with your phone. Your phone, if you forgot it, you go back to your house, you're going to take it.
You feel like you're naked. You can't walk naked in the streets. It's not appropriate, right?
So there is such a personal relationship, any of us, right, with their phone that, yes, people have higher expectation, I guess. We just have to be aware of that. When it comes to a golf club, okay, if there's a scratch at the bottom, it's fine, right? I think people can survive with this.
Yoni, would you say that there's specific categories that you see more returns?
I think we have the classics. We have clothing and shoes. Typically, at least on the Amazon side of things, there's 2 dimensions. One is that you might just order a few colors or a few sizes just to see which one fits and then return the rest. You could do that, or you could do the same thing if you do it through what they call Amazon Prime Wardrobe, I believe. So you can actually, some ASINs or products are eligible for you to order it. You don't pay anything. It all comes. I actually do that for shoes.
Yeah.
I just order all these styles and sizes, and then the comfort of my own home, my own closet, I try them on, and whatever I want to keep, I keep, and then I send the rest back, and they only charge me for what I use. So, so those categories, and just a classic, nothing out of the ordinary on Amazon, I would say.
Alrighty, and what would you tell merchants who are interested in starting to sell refurbished products should be their first step after using Sellercloud, because everyone's already using it?
1, 2, and 3 Sellercloud. I think that one of the first places is you want to source the quality, and then you want to source the quantity, the supply, and then the quality pieces of that. We do not have a marketplace that connects purchasing that. However, we can absolutely make some introductions to guide you through that if you are interested.
And what are some of the other identifiable trends across e-commerce industries that you can share with us today?
In terms of like products, you mean?
Anything goes.
Product selling.
Category? No, I mean the biggest category when it comes to refurbish is definitely smartphones. Second largest one is laptops. There's more and more people going to laptop because the price gap is even like higher, right? Think about I'm a MacBook user, right? Like many of you. Brand new MacBook Pro, you're looking at close to a couple $1,000s, right? You can buy it used 3-4 years older for $500-600, right? So the saving aspect on that is huge, and there's less again this personal relationship that you have. people pay less attention, let's say, to their MacBook. So yeah, I would say definitely those two categories are the biggest ones. Then iPads, smartwatches are coming strong behind, and then it's starting more and more like, headphones, any kind of portable electronic, portable audio, big categories. Gaming as well. Gaming, people don't know that, but huge categories and huge consumer base, right?
So I'm not gaming, but I'm going to build on what you said. Is I think it's so true about when you start to move out of smartphones, people understand, okay, I want to look for X model. And so when we talk about trends within e-commerce, I think it's putting on a layer of everything we hear for AI and ML right now and being able to search more by features. I'm a gamer. I want a laptop that I can game on. I'm a financial expert and I need a laptop I can do Excel on, but I don't know what a gigabyte and a RAM is, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Guide me. And I think we're seeing more of that from a flat out Google shopping experience to what more customers are going to want. And how do we also connect with our partners then to put all the metadata and the descriptions behind, those models to help customers uncover those is something I see continuing to evolve.
Alrighty, so I guess we'll wrap this up and say thank you, everyone. Thank you all for your time
very
and
much.
for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.